Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Gegema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and of course Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. We are also streaming live tonight on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. We are streaming live. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. That is the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. You want to watch the show on YouTube? Just go to where they have the search. You type Nighttime Heat, and of course, you're going to subscribe. And of course, you want to watch the show regularly. Just hit the notification bell so that anytime the show comes on, you receive the notification. Also, we are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. We are streaming live. And of course, tonight promises to be very, very interesting. I'm hoping that you are glued to your radio or you are glued to your laptop or your phone so that you can form part of the discussion tonight. I want you to share the show. Wherever you are, share the show. Just go on your YouTube channel or your Facebook. You type Nighttime Heat, and of course, then you share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow and be part of the discussion tonight. Well, it promises to be very, very interesting. Between now and 8:30, we'll be doing our own housekeeping. You know, there's been some noise since the NC political leaders spoke on a Spoon Talk. There's been some reactions, some in favor, some stringing along with him, and of course, some of the reactions are so damning, especially the one from the Ministry of Information. We'll talk about that very, very shortly. And of course, I said we'll be grilling Montserrat County Representative Smo Morba. He alone tonight. And of course, a couple of issues we'll be talking about, national issues we'll be talking about with the representative. The function of the House of Representatives as well. We'll be talking about that because, you know, they have a new leadership. In fact, the speaker today conducted his tour, so we'll be talking about that as well. And then we'll talk with him for just an hour from 8:30 up to 9:30. And then we'll have a few guests to also do some assessment. We'll be gauging the government's performance in the areas of job creation. Has the government done much in creating jobs for our people? In some areas of governance, we'll also be talking about the issue of women and children's protection. Do you see that more of that happening in this government? The issue of concession, ensuring that there's a better concession agreement. Is this government committed to that? So our guest will be joining us. That is at 9:30. We're going to talk right after the interview with Representative Smo Morba. In the meantime, my producers are here. Let me give them a kudos. They are always around. And of course, one of my panelists, because Moses Sandy said he will be unable to join because he has a very, very huge workload. He's swamped with a lot of work engagement, so you'll not be able to come on the show tonight. But let me give kudos to George Kennedy, and of course, welcome him first, and then I also thank him for his commitment. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabo. I'm happy to be here. It's been a tough time. We've been in studio this few days. We've been screaming from home, but this is what technology does.
Yeah.
We are happy for that.
In fact, that's been due to some major problems beyond our control.
Yeah.
We still face with the problem, but I know it'll be sorted out.
Very, very soon. Yeah.
Let's try to get this tip quickly. Listeners and viewers, kindly share the show. viewers, share the show. Tonight promises to be very, very interesting. Tonight promises to be very, very feisted. I know you are close to your radio. I know you are close to your phone, your laptop. Just share the show. Again, go on Prime FM or Rover 105.5, and you just tap that on your phone or your laptop. You share the show. Also, you can also share the show. Go on your phone and tap Nighttime Heat. You get our Facebook page and you watch the show online. Also, you can tap Nighttime Heat on your YouTube channel and you watch the show online as well. Let's try to play this video and then we talk about what is contained in this video quickly.
It's one thing to be a political dwarf. It's another thing to be an intellectual dwarf. I'm not too sure those who are as having solution to all the country's problems expect us to forget what it took us yesterday. Some of the people who now say that in just 19 months of the Buhari presidency, nothing has changed. We have to remind them. For 6 years under the previous administration, we came together on the CPP. Because the state of governance in the country was so terrible. Freedom of the press was being stifled. Professional auditors were killed in the exercise of their professional duties. Political opponents were haunted. Critical voices were silenced. You all know what happened to Patrick Ola and Punch FM. You know what happened to Henry Costa, a radio station. We came together to rescue the country from perishing under the leadership of the former president. I will not want to mention his name. When Tangi Larenko went to election and voted, this very political leader who said that he had given the former president red card, and in spite of all of the negativity that happened to the country under the leadership of the former president, he went back on his own voice to endorse that former president. Today, you see the country is progressing. That political leader was here when sanction was reigning the October reign, when the country was being blacklisted on the international stage. That political leader was here. Apparently, he got cut around with actually. So you now come to the public and say, oh, nothing happening on 2 years. Those who are misleading that political leader, they're not doing it well. You cannot use dishonesty as a pathway to the presidency. Because Nigerians are here. They are feeling the positive impact of the intervention being made by the government. I need not tell you that the government has taken steps to address the bread and butter issues.
Okay, that's Deputy Information Minister Daniel Sano speaking a few I think yesterday, right? A few hours ago. Okay, so let's get your take, George. This has sparked a lot of reactions from members of the public and some political leaders as well. But what did you get? What's your takeaway?
Well, we've said it here over and over. So we've said that the Ministry of Finance should not be weaponized.
The Ministry of Information.
Information rather should not be weaponized to go against its perceived opponents or those who are critical of government's policies. And you see, we see a repeat of the same thing that occurred during Madam Salif time and coming forward, I thought that we should focus on marketing, the progress being made, and then try to slow down on strongly responding to. Look, the Liberian people are the judges, all right? They are the judges. In spite of the tough economic condition, the people are happy. They are impressed with most of the things that are going on in the economy. That's why sometimes when the government goes to some places, even the current demolition exercises, they will say, look, go ahead, we want development, we tired waiting for development. So I think I don't support what Mr. Comey said. He was wrong. The Liberian people know that he was wrong, and he's always wrong. He doesn't make good decisions technically, politically. But I thought that the minister should not have gone that far. I thought that, look, I said it here the other day, the two ministers who were there, the Minister Proper and the Minister Sando, they're not suffering from intellectual impediments. They are intellectually strong. They are well-voiced. They can market the government policies. I want this government to be different. I want this government to govern differently, to respond to critical voices differently, in a more sober manner, that even the civil society, the largest society, will really have that confidence in you. But I don't think we should go too strong after people right now, because right now we are focused directly on governing, leading, developing, and putting things into place. So that's where I stand, for me, in my opinion. Yeah.
And let me see my version. I think I agree with you. They weren't too extreme. They weren't too high in reacting to the political leader of the ANC. He has his own position. When it comes to the way the government is performing. And this is why sometimes I tell people, it's good to appoint people in positions that they are well trained in. I'm not trying to be condescending to say, oh, somebody's not trained, but in a way, the best way to respond to an opposition leader who has come up to spewed innuendos, or who have come up to say things against the government,
to throw jazz,
and all of that. The best way to respond to people of that nature is to do your own research and come out with statistics, with the stats, and say, look, Mr. Comey had said that the Liberian people are suffering. We came to power in 2024, right? 2024.
January 22.
Before we came to power, for example, we met 10 or 5,000 civil servants. Today, the records show that we've employed 10,000 of them. I'm trying to lay the example here. Look, when you provide the statistics, when you provide the facts, look, you will dismiss what the opposition leader has said. But when you come up to not provide any facts, rather to throw jabs at him and insult him, you give him more leverage, you give him more public admiration than you should have. You should be having a public admiration. You should receive that. But because you didn't do what you should have done properly, so many of the people would then begin to talk in favor of the opposition leader. And that's what's happening. We've said this over and over. We can't continue to bastardize the Ministry of Information. No. It's not the Ministry of Information's it shouldn't be your function to just lambast at people when they criticize the government. No.
Especially someone who you just defeated massively.
Thank you.
They got less than 2%
Less
of
than
the vote.
2%.
So should this person say anything that you know
No,
your skin not
it's-
taking up as well?
It's unfortunate. Well, it's unfortunate.
I could even prefer
like you
responding to Mr. Weir more than Mr. Combs.
Like you said,
So,
you said, they both Minister Pia and Deputy Minister Sando, they do have the intellectual capacity, but they need to go further.
yeah,
They need to change their mode of
government.
responding to people.
Yeah.
They need to change that mode of responding to people. You can't always, insult or lambast people. No, provide the stats, provide the real facts,
yes,
provide the facts, and that's what people want to hear. Look, you said that people are suffering. This is what we have on the book.
yeah,
Since we came, we've been able to employ X amount of people. But if you don't do it, and you just come up to hit at the president, to throw jabs or to use invectives against the president, I tell you what, that person will gain more public admiration than you.
and it's
You will
true.
not get our public admiration because people will say, "Oh, but they're saying the truth." All they have to do is to just
To
insult.
go insult.
No. So, man, Minister Pia and Minister Sando, let's change the mode of reacting to people. The current minister is not new.
It's not new.
He's
It's
been in that position. He was not minister though, but he was managing the media of the presidency.
Yes,
So he knows more of what we are talking about. It's not about just condemning somebody or reacting to the president in a manner where it sounds so condescending and so insultive.
you know who amazed? You know who amazed down there at that ministry? C. William Allen.
Thank you.
He was when he was there.
But even during the last administration, and look, I said this before and it's stupid.
Ledger who
When
did
Ledger
well.
who was there.
I think that 1 or 2 times he was pressed on where he had to go, but
No, but even there was a situation that came up when the late Cassell, when he said that the government had put a stop to his aircraft landing or his helicopter coming in, and there was a press statement that Ledger who carved. I still have that press statement today. That was no insult in it, but he laid the facts.
the facts.
Why
His helicopter wasn't allowed.
dismissing what the late Cassell said, and that should be the way that we communicate government's policies and actions.
Yeah.
Look, there's no need to throw jabs.
No need.
If Daniel Sando is doing so, you, Minister Pia, you should be telling Daniel, look, Daniel, let's give the people the facts. Our people are rational. We got more educated people.
People are getting educated in this country.
People are getting educated. I mean, we got more educated people. Our people are rational. Let us not throw jabs at those people. Let us not insult them. Let us not use any demeaning comments against them. No, let's just provide the facts. And that's what we think should happen. I'm hoping that our good friend at the Ministry of Information, look, you have all the sophistication, Mr. Minister of Information. You got the sophistication. Nobody is doubting your sophistication. You do have.
Sure.
Likewise, Daniel Sano is educated. But the way we respond to people is not the appropriate way. Let's provide the facts.
Yeah.
The ANC political leader came up to say, look, the people are suffering. Look, provide the facts. So look, when we came to government, this was the amount of people, this was the number of people that were working.
Yeah.
Today, we've been able to increase the number, and we have a couple of individuals working.
Yeah.
And you can provide the facts. Look, before we came, electricity was at this level. We have not increased the provision of electricity.
Road connectivity
as well. When you do that, you will gain public admiration.
Yes.
You will surely gain public admiration. But when you follow the man who's condemning, and you yourself you get so enraged and you begin to condemn, nobody will want to give you that credence. Nobody want to give you that
weaponize.
credence. No, you can't.
Shouldn't weaponize,
Let's try to change the way we do things, moving forward. Let us not always condemn and hate our people. Let's provide the facts. Yes, it's true. The government is making some incremental progress.
Seriously,
We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen electricity. In fact, where I live, I can't remember when LEC ever went off. I can remember that.
I mean, even Mr. Sam Jackson is strong critic of this government. He was telling his friends in South Africa and the United States, he said, I thought I grew up with that.
Improving.
Yeah, he said, I'm here enjoying electricity in my house.
Let's try Minister Pia and Deputy Minister Sando. Let's try to change our mode of reacting to people. Let's give those people the facts. Let's not use those sort of condescending or disparaging people. Let's not do it. When we do it, we'll not gain the public admiration. I think what this government wants to get is that public admiration. That we want. We don't want the public condemning us because of things that we say.
Sure.
No.
Sure.
Let me read this one. I understand that our guests, Representative Sumo Molma, will be discussing with him on a couple of national issues for just an hour, and we'll do our analysis with some other guests that'll be joining us. We understand he's already on. But let me try to get this and read this and get your thought as well regarding the arson case. Let me try to go for it quickly and pull this information out. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat. Kindly share the show. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on Pram FM Rover 105.5. Let me read this. Supreme Court of Justice rejects appeal in capital arson case involving Fornanti, Kofa, and co-defendants. Trial to proceed. Associate Justice James Eto Howard Wolokoli, sitting in the chambers at the Supreme Court of Liberia, has refused to grant a writ of certiorari requested by former House Speaker J. Fornanti Kofa and authors in relation to the high-profile Capitol building arson case. In a statement delivered through the court's clerk, Counsel Sam Mamulu, Justice Wolokoli stated that the defense petition lacked a sufficient legal basis for Supreme Court intervention. As a result, the lower court is now instructed to resume jurisdiction and to continue with the legal procedures. What's your takeaway?
We said the other day it's a legal proceeding. Mm-hmm. We also said that we're not lawyers, but looking at what we know, the Supreme Court is going to overturn that writ, mm-hmm. and they are going to ask the judge to proceed because the evidence gathered, according to lawyers who've been hearing, to meet all of the requirements of evidence gathering in criminal cases. Mm-hmm. So I knew it's not strange to me. If I share on my post today, on my Facebook page today, I said the Supreme Court dumps Kofa orders.
Yeah, I know.
And it was not strange.
You expected that ruling?
I expected that ruling.
Okay.
Because Councillor Kofa used the same process of evidence gathering against Councillor Vanny Sherman, now Senator Ellis Tyler, all those people to prosecute them in the Global Winnings case. It's a precedent. It's been accepted. It's accepted internationally. I knew that would have been used.
Well, I think, yes, I do agree with you. And I knew that ruling would have come from the Associate Justice, Wolokoli. Now with that ruling, it means that the case will have to proceed. Those who have evidence that the prosecution said, the last time we spoke with the Solicitor General here, he said they have preponderance of evidence. Yeah. And he was very optimistic and upbeat that they're going to win the case at the end of the day. So we're going to see where we get to in this case with the latest ruling. We expected that the Associate Justice would have denied the motion of Fornanti Kofa and the rest of them and allowing the lower court to continue with the case. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5 and also being relayed on a couple of stations in the rural Liberia, including Radio Kagema, Kwatik, and then of course Radio Ologisi. We are streaming live on Prime FM on Roof 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just go there and tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do so, you're going to follow the show, and of course going to like the show, and of course going to enjoy the show as well. I think I need to, okay?
Yes, somebody, if you could give me the chance before the honorable man comes on.
Yes, go ahead.
Because I didn't want this to be like to say I'm defending members of the House here. On Monday we had a discussion. We had some of your guests discussing salaries of members of the legislature here, comparing it to that of the United States. And I told them they were in error, okay? That members of the House here made more money than those in the U.S. Congress. It's false, okay? And if you read the information, I think I shared some with you. If you read the information available, members of the Congress in the United States per annum, the minimum salary is $174,000. If you spread out over 12 months period, it's around $14,500. That is different,
okay,
from other allowances that they get. I told you that night that members of Congress, even in their offices, and when they go to their constituencies, a bottle of water they don't even pay for it. It's paid for by state funds. Once they are on duty, all other fees paid for, not from their pocket. In fact, they got some allowance of around $33,000 per annum. They got the members. Look, the thing is clear. There is no way that I'm not saying it to back these people for their salaries. No, I'm not saying it to back it. But sometimes when people come on the show, they should provide the facts. I took this argument on with Mr. Henry Costa.
So what is your facts you're trying to provide?
The facts are here on their own.
Because
laws and the facts. So one of your panelists said she didn't want to work in Liberia. That's a contradiction I want to really focus on here. That one of the things. You didn't want to work in Liberia. You are a nurse. You work in the United States. You can't wear JFA because of death trial. You can't wear here because the place is not correct. But you on the radio saying that those who work here, they should reduce their salary. When you say that help people who working in the health sector, their salary low, but you're saying that those who get a little higher salary, they should reduce it. But you refusing to work it. That's contradiction. I think when people go to America, the campaign, if you can even change your tone to speak, the people here are not stupid. The people here, they are not people who somebody should just come and ride on them. And that's why when I was speaking that night, somebody felt I was talking too loud because the internet was slow to my side. So I tried to make my points, and the person started holding her ears. That was somehow disrespectful.
Okay.
But we accept it and go forward. When she comes here, I tell we are journalists. That's one of the reasons why we are here. We are journalists. If you say anything here, we do our background. We challenge you and do our background check and provide the facts. Mr. Fambler will have to be careful with information that he provide on the platform.
Okay, Mr. Fambler will be here.
He will be here at
9:30.
Yeah.
And you'll be here. He promised that he'll be here at 9:30.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prime FM 105.5. This program has also been relayed by Radio Gagaman, Radio Kwatik, and of course Radio Wologisi in Lofo County. Very, very shortly, we'll have our guests online. Representative Smoke Molba will be joining us very, very shortly. We'll speak with him just for an hour. But it seems Moses Sandy is trying to connect with us. He said he got a huge workload. What can he focus on what he's doing? It seems like he wants to just chip in quickly. As soon as he wants to chip in quickly, let me just put Moses on quickly, and then we can join our guest on the show. Moses, welcome to the program.
You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, but you're busy today, Moses. You are busy, but man. So you got attracted by your man's argument, eh? Okay, let's hear you quickly.
I just want to say this, George. The statement regarding salaries for members of the U.S. Congress. you're talking about a well-developed economy. And let me give you a comparison. The Speaker of the United States earns $245 to $250,000 a year. The Senate Pro Tem of the U.S. Congress monthly earns a little over $16,000. Let's compare that to the Senate Pro Tem of Liberia. Yombi Kanga, she earns over $20,000. In a very poor economy, a country where the average Liberian is earning less than $50 a month. Yombi Kanga earns $20,000 a month. That's what research shows.
No, you ask him.
So you see the so you see
Mr. Sandy, Mr. Sandy, Mr. Sandy,
yes, sir.
do you have any evidence to show this, to prove this? Yeah. Can you point to anything? Or
yes, I can. See, let me take you back to tell you that you're not speaking to the same data. You are absolutely right. A congressman in the United States earns $174,000 a year. When you do the math, it's a little over $12,000 monthly.
14,500.
Yeah. Go back to that same information. You're going to see this.
Majority leader is around 130,000, along with the minority leader, the same amount.
No, the Senate is not the majority leader.
Okay.
Judge Yombi Kanga, the Senate in the United States, you look at the information, it tells you the Senate in the United States make a little over $16,000 a month.
Okay, Moses. What are you saying? What is your argument quickly?
I want to say his argument.
Yeah, my argument here is our lawmakers in Liberia make more money.
They make more money than that of those in the U.S.
And that is why I said no. I think Mr. Sandy.
Hello, Dave. Yes, Sandy is on the same line. Dave, we can take you now. Let Sandy end first. Yes, Sandy, go ahead. Moses. Okay, it seems that Moses gone off.
Now in the U.S.
Maybe Dave, you can call now, so we can take you quickly if we can connect with our guests.
Okay, in the Senate,
maybe Dave wants to make
in the Congress. I wanted to profile.
1 minute.
He's basic. He's not following these people.
1 minute. Let me try to talk to Dave quickly. Yeah, Mr. Cody, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. I'll be very brief. Mr. Kennedy, I have always agreed with you on many issues, but this one here, I beg you, let's leave it.
Okay.
Look, the United States budget for this year, 2025, is $7 trillion.
Okay.
Your budget is not even $1 billion. The GDP of the United States is $29 trillion. And the GDP of your country is around 3-point-something billion. Look, even if the U.S. Congress or congressmen were making over $40,000 a month, on the average, you can't still compare that to anything here. These people, when you look at it on the average, our people are making more.
No, Mr. Koti,
yeah.
That wasn't a debate on Monday. Their argument was congressmen in the United States making $3,000 to $4,000 a month. That was their argument. I'm telling them, say no. I'm not arguing. I'm not justifying these people's salaries in Liberia. No. I'm arguing the points that they try to push in Liberia that Congress people in the United States make $3,000 to $4,000, while in Liberia they make $15,000.
Okay,
it's lie. It's not true.
Okay, Dave, thank you very much. We have to join our.
You understand the point?
Dave, thank you very much. We have to join our guests quickly. Let's bring our guests in. Representative Smo Mulba, welcome to the program. Welcome to the night time.
Hey, Sobo and my brother Josh. I would like to say good evening to everyone.
I mean, don't. And I'm backing you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Reb, we have you here for an hour, so
Yeah.
let's just haul you into what we are talking about. I'm sure you've been following, the politics in the U.S., the salaries and of congressmen, the ones that you people are earning. Just give us your own thoughts on that. Let's try to include you in this discussion first before we go to other areas.
All right, Sobo. First of all, I listened to my brother Moses from the U.S. to that of Kuti. Let me say this. I think you saw one of my read up. I had a read up on Facebook where I talk about envy and jealousy, right? If they were in this position, any of them, if they were in this position, they won't be saying what they're saying. Remember, Sober, Liberia, I like to do comparison or go through an analysis with the U.S. to that of Liberia. Because in the U.S., we have a society where people, pressure is the pressure is not on the congressman. Pressure. Because the way in which the kind of government they run, right? Remember now we have the U.S. running republic state like in other countries, but then the governance process is different. Most of the lawmakers there, the congressmen there, they receive what we call the MRA, which is the member representational allowance.
Allowance, yeah.
Salary, all right. So for the allowance received just by a congressman, I'm looking at one congressman. The salary received is $100,000 United States dollars a year. Then we look at the issue of allowances based upon the district run. Like I don't know, Congressman Caroline, Congress Lady Caroline B. Molokny, right? She received for California, she received $1.3 million for her district. So the thing there is that the district fund is used directly for the people, and what for the congressman is used for the congressman. But in Liberia, the burden rests on the shoulder of the lawmaker and the people deputy. Take into consideration, the congressmen in the U.S. will not go about paying money in the desire of their people, the needs of their people. They will not pay for rentage. They will not pay for school fees, right?
Even what?
To them. In Liberia, your budget is not like that. The budget is decentralized local government. It's not in control of us. We are not in control of it. So because of that, we have much more burden. So that let's look at what we make. We make $6,000. That's the number. You hear the word 8,000, but there is a remittance to the issue of let's say the withholding to that of NASCAR benefit. We remit. So the money is going back to government. We receive the 6,000. 6,000 received. Look, Sobo, within a week, you will use all of those money. You have nothing to show, right? Because you have to relate to everybody in your district. When they come, you have to do something. But for the US, it's not like that. So I would not like to be like Koti to go through analysis, comparative analysis. No, we cannot compare, as Koti said, we cannot compare the US to Liberia. In Liberia, we do more for our people than in the US because they have a specific budget allotted to them. In Liberia, there is no budget. What is allotted? What is our salary? We use our salary on the people, on project in our district. I think to hear people in Liberia saying that our salary is so huge, I think it's I would not just take that, would I accept that? I think it's not so good for us, right? I think we should be able to embrace the lawmaker. The money the executive made in Liberia, they are not using their money, they use their money for themselves and their children. Compared to us, the lawmaker, because it has been a traditional thing, and we encounter it on a daily basis. It's troublesome. A lot of people are not looking at it. All they hear, lawmakers make money, lawmakers make money, but how we use this money. We got people who make above us in the executive. Some people make 8,000. We got people in the executive who take gas slip. We got people in the executive who take scratch card, right? We got people in the executive that go about hustling, they pay their hustling. So there's no way you can compare Liberia to that of the US, to compare Liberia with even the executive that we have today, Liberia here. We should not do
Okay.
that.
Honorable Maba,
Yeah.
you, I know the 6,000 you call probably is your net. How much is your real gross?
So I'm saying the gross is 8,000, but government deduct 2,000. And up to today, government cannot justify. Like in the US, you have what we call pension for retirement. Every lawmaker, when they leave, they have pension. They have something to hold up to. But in Liberia, when a lawmaker leave the job, they get crazy. Have you experienced that?
Rep, you said that the 2,000 deducted has not been justified. Is it that you people have now inquired as to why 2,000 was?
It's our duty. But because we have a host of elite, and I will say here, I'm not afraid to say that. We have a host of an elite that only few people feel that they are super lawmaker and they know everything. You get that? We cannot have the country running like that. We need to stop.
But the thing is, you people have the summoning power. You can invite the minister of finance or invite whoever, the LRA, and then inquire as to why 2,000.
How will you summon when it is in the interest of the elite? How can you summon when you have a host of elite? When it is in the interest of the elite, few people that control the house. How can you summon when you have people controlling the house? It's difficult.
So it means that
in our room, the presiding is the head, right? You can have a floor, but to take motion is based upon the presiding. When the presiding rejects the motion for summary, there will be no summary.
So it means you people in the legislature, or the impression you are building here is that, or you're giving us here is that there's major division in the legislature. There are individuals who are elite who who would not want to embrace themselves to invite the minister of finance or authority.
There will always be division. The way in which we run governance, there will always be division. You have the executive, you have three branches of government with different duty and functions. But because you have the executive who believe that they should have total control of the House of Legislature of government. So it happens every time, not just with this government. It happens with any other government. And we need to desist from that. That's not good governance. We need to desist because one branch is there to attack the other.
Okay, like I said, you are here for an hour. You listen, viewers. You are watching the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. If you want to, you are listening, of course, and you want to watch online. Also, just go on YouTube or your Facebook page, and then you tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do so, you're going to watch the show online. Also, we are streaming live on Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. Now, Red, since we are at the legislature, let's ask for your honest opinion and your honest answer here. How do you grade the performance of the House of Representatives? Let's forget about the Senate, because it is at the House of Representatives that you effected a leadership change. Now that you have a new leadership in the office, how do you, as Representative Small Molba, grade the performance of the new leadership?
All right, Sober, let me say this. I'm one person that I really rely. I'm not there because I'm part of government, but I'm a realist. I would love to see the truth as we see it. With the level of work for the representative, I would like to be frank with you. You grade government based on improvement. When there is an achievement rating, where the people benefit, what the people what they need, they want, when they receive it, then you grade government. So with the issue of public policy as it relates to the House, I think we still have some issue that a lot of lawmakers need to understand, right? They are there, they are being there, they should be people-centered. They are there in the interest of our people. They are not there to make money. That's the concept, right? But if we build up the mentality that going in the House is to make money, trust me, Sober, we will still go through the traditional thing. There won't be a change. The President Bouakai will come. I always say this. The issue of Liberia is not President Boakai. It's not even George Weah. Right? The issue of Liberia is Liberians.
The question I ask you, Representative Molba, the question I ask you, if you know over the past months now, you got new leadership in House of Representatives. I want you to be clear tonight to our listeners and viewers. Has that leadership departed from previous reasons for which you ousted Kofa and others? That's the question I'm asking.
I think the leadership is going along the track. Yeah, I would not like to go and dig hole for any leadership. I think they are going along with the track. All they need to do is to be on the path, the right path, right? I think before then I said a few things that they need to take consideration of. One thing I say is the issue of traveling, right? Why would lawmakers continue to travel? I consider that to be waste of funding, wasteful spending. Because the thing is, Suburb, you travel, the president travel, they all go out to lobby. So what's the role of the lawmaker? What's the role? I agree, we are all from different committees. We have committee set up that could work along. You have estate, you are not an estate. You have the executive who will go there. You have the expert who will go there and lobby. So what's the president of lawmaker? When you look at our budget, you have people traveling, lawmakers traveling every time. They travel for this program, they travel for that program. So what's the benefit to Liberian people?
So in another way, you are saying that was that happening during the administration of Fornati Kofa and others when people was traveling?
They say, right. I want me to do it. It's what you want. Be direct to me. Yeah, don't dodge the gun. Be direct. I think you want comparative analysis. For the comparative analysis, I will tell you that.
Sure. So the question I'm asking you. The question I'm coming. Yeah. Representative Molba, the question I'm asking you: are people traveling in this current leadership of the House? People were traveling during during the administration of Fornati Kofa. Is there any change, or are people still traveling unnecessarily like it was before? That's the question I'm asking you.
Look, Fornati Kofa, I think there were restrictions, but for this new leadership. The leadership came in with a new style. I must admit to that. With the appearance of the building now, the restriction, they are doing well. But when it comes to the issue of traveling, wasting the taxpayer money outside without bringing anything, at least the president travel, the president will come with something. But lawmaker travel, they come back with just paper and lecture, stories. I consider that to be sightseeing.
Let me ask you.
Now, I think it's worse.
It's worse. Now, so there's no change at all. If there was one reason for which the current leadership removed former Speaker Kofa and others, there's absolutely no change at all. People are still traveling unnecessarily. Now, again, compare.
Let's get it straight, Sobor. Let's get it straight.
Go ahead.
When you listen to those counts that came from the majority, they were not based upon traveling. Now, traveling wasn't the issue there. The issue there was corruption. So how can we identify whether this government is corrupt, this Richard Kun government is corrupt from Kofa government? The only way we can do that is to avoid internal audit and bring external audit. Well, we have independent groups coming on.
Let me remind you now. That was one of the argument, or one of the the argument that was being put forth by Fornati Kofa and others. They wanted audit in the legislature, in the House of Representatives. Unfortunately, they didn't achieve that, and they were booted out. They were ousted. Now, do you see any attempt by the current leadership to invite auditors to come in?
Let me say this. I think the first attempt to make it was when they came into power. It was at the City Hall, where they tried to introduce the internal audit of the House. And I said, no, we cannot do that. If you do that, you are trying to hide something. It's something shenanigan. You need to involve external audit group like the GSC, right? those anti-graft institutions, the RAA, we have already paid our money to them. We paid them for a job, a piece of job to do. So you need a neutral body that will come and do the assessment. Or anything beyond that is what we call budget shading. You are trying to shade something, you are trying to hide something in the budget. And remember now, you cannot do internal audit where you are the lawmaker, you have the power to formulate the budget, you have the power, the will to scrutinize the budget, and you put it yourself. That's wrong. That's corruption. It gave breed to corruption. So I said no to that. It was based upon that other lawmakers that believe in the ideology of denying that. They came into being, they supported the process, and today there is not a group called internal audit. And I'm suggesting Richard Kum came out, Honorable Fala came out, and said that this government was corrupt. The Kufa government was corrupt. So many of us, we are not an accountant. We are not financial experts. They need to come with an audit group to justify that. And the audit group also needs to investigate whether this present government is also corrupt. Because if we can look at other institutions from the executive and audit them, we all came with a law. We are brought forth the law, right? LACC, right? All of those are financial acts. We broke it. I think it's also sensible. It's also prudent that we also have to be audited, and we need to do that.
So from what you are seeing now, Representative Molba, from what you are seeing since the new leadership came into being, since Speaker Rachel Cornish assumed office, from what you are seeing in their performance,
They are still merrymaking. That's it.
do you?
They are merrymaking.
The question is, I'm coming, Representative Molba. The question is, do you think reasons for ousting or removing former Speaker Kofa and others, the reasons are not justified at all, or they are justified? From what you are seeing,
This thing was based upon corruption, as I said. There was an allegation Speaker Kofa took money from for sections. Speaker Kofa did this as a lawyer. Speaker Kofa did that. We need proof, right? So as a new government coming in, it's your duty to investigate. Up to today, there haven't been an investigation. There hasn't been anything with audit. We need to audit them. At the same time, creating good leadership, good governance, you have to open to audit. Because let me say this, if we audit the house, Liberia trouble for 147 years will be over. Somebody will tell you that. When we audit the house, if the Liberian people agree that we audit this house, the trouble of Liberia will be over. For 147 plus years, it will be over.
I'm still asking you the question. Do you see any attempt by the current leadership of the House to invite external auditors?
Not yet. They spoke of internal auditor. And you cannot have internal auditor when you mesmerize the budget. You cannot have internal auditor when the budget is in your control. You cannot have internal auditor when you make the law governing those policies of the budget. You cannot.
You're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM.
So we need an external auditor.
Okay, now you need external auditor. You want to come in? Okay,
Yeah,
quickly.
I think every public institution by law should have internal auditor. But what the honorable is saying, what I'm gathering from him is probably the internal auditor that they are embedded, so probably they may be compromised. So he's talking about an external auditor at the GAC, because the other time I've heard the Auditor General say they've been meeting with the Senate and the House to see how they can put framework together to see how they can start auditing the legislature. I don't know how far they've gone with that, but I thought it's a very good thing to say. I don't agree with the Honorable point blank when he says that once you audit the house, it means Liberia's problem will be solved. No. The actual problem.
One of Liberia's problems. One of
okay, so which one is that? Which one?
at least we will minimize corruption.
You minimize corruption.
Minimize corruption. That's one of the
Okay.
issues.
All right. So for us to move forward, Representative Smooth Mulba, like we said, you are here for an hour. But not said you should be leaving. Can I do an honest grading of the performance of the Speaker Rachel Cohn's leadership? Grade that for us.
From 1 to 10.
You're trying to indict me. This is very strong work.
You say the book corrupt, you always say the book corrupt, then you say somebody indicted.
Be blunt now.
No. I want you to get this clear.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I'm speaking of the traditional way of doing things at the house. That's what I'm speaking of. From the Genesis up to today, they haven't been an auditor. There haven't been an audit. So I'm saying if you evolve auditing process, it means that you have something under your sleeve.
Let me bring you back, Representative Mulba. Let me bring you back. I want you to give us a grading from 1 to 10, the performance of the leadership of the House of Representatives. What is wrong with doing that?
So how will you want to grade it and Kunhabi won 1 year? I'm one person. No. I'm not one person. I just grade people. Kunhabi won 1 year.
What you saying?
What you seeing now?
If I'm to grade him, I will grade him like this. From 1 to 10, when it comes to modernization, I gave Honorable Richard Cohn, the Speaker of the House, 78 or 7.8.
Okay.
Right? 7.8.
Yeah.
When it comes to the international connection, the network, I haven't seen one that benefit us yet. I haven't seen that, but I will give him 7.0%. I will give him that. When it comes to the issue of corruption, again, let me make it clear. I'm not saying the leadership is corrupt. What I'm saying is that the refusal to allow an external audit to come out of the house at this time, because you have Honorable Kofa responsible for corruption. That's one of your allegations.
What grade would you give him? What grade would you give him?
So with that, I would give him 5.8% when it comes to that. So the rest of the other things, the interrelationship with all of those lawmakers, I would grade in now at least 8.0%. 8.0.
So that
8.0, yeah.
Okay, you've graded your the house where you work, so we can continue to ask you.
Yes. We did public policy. We know how you are bringing on where close you are bringing us to. You are indicting us.
Oh, I was indicting. No, I was not indicting. I was just asking a question. Now, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's try to go forward. You are here for 30 minutes. You got close to 9:30. You should be leaving from here. You've been listening to. I'm sure you followed the appearance of the political leader of ANC on a local station, and he was blunt in his observations that people are still suffering. A couple of things he said, and in reaction, I'm sure you might have listened to the reaction of the Ministry of Information that link him to political drivism and all of that. It's a political drive and all of. And saying that apparently he might have drank something for which he spoke the way he spoke. What is your take away? What's your what came to you? What came to your mind when you saw the way people were reacting to the ANC political leader?
Sober, I think we have to be real with people at times, right? And especially where I look at the opposition bloc, because when we are opposition in democracy, you form part of government. You cannot be the one every time trying to criticize government. You also have to give way you have to show planes that government can also operate, that government can take. And if you say that the government is not doing well and the people are still suffering, what has been the opposition role? That's my question to Kumis. What has been Kumis' role in order to mitigate the issue of our people suffering? So when you are on the opposite things, your duty is not just to make words or say things. Your duty is to help government, to show them the way. So let me say this. I think that's the beauty of democracy. Anybody can get up and talk and speak and say anything they want to say. If it were a communist country, by now some people go to jail. But because we all love democracy, so we allow people to say things. And let me say this to you, Sobo. I did my study before coming here. I did a research before coming here through the IMF report. 2017 to 18, there was a forecast, a downward trend when it comes to the growth of our economy, a downward trend. The GDP dropped. 2023, the GDP went as far as 4.0 from the IMF. The report is from the IMF. When the government came and took over, remember that I told you one of your shows, I said that usually during the election, you have people that pump money in because of the inflow of money and the way people handle to other people's needs. There can be a stable rate of our economy. But today, the IMF for 2024 is a forecast projected at the rate of 4.6. Imagine, suburb. So what am I expecting this government to do now to know whether the government is doing well or not? When I look at the IMF report for 2025, the government maintained the rate with, again, 4.6. So the government have not dropped. The government has stabilized certain part of the economy. And let me show you those part of the economy that the government has stabilized. When we are looking at, as a public policy maker, right, we take into consideration indicators, economic indicators. The GDP, there's a balance, there's a stable rating. Inflation, there is balance. Prices, we see in the prices, right? The prices now, at least there is a value of our Liberian island. Gasoline down, commodity down, we see it. The price of rice down. So if anyone that will come up, any opposition that will come up and say the government not doing anything, they are not a realist. They are crying wolf cry.
So in another word,
So
unemployment. With the issue of unemployment, it takes time, suburb. It will not happen over the night time. We need to give government more chance. There are negotiations going outside of Liberia. The president is going through lobbying, the process of lobbying to see how best other companies can come in, other private institutions can come in. Remember now, this time, employment is resting on the shoulder of the public sector. So we need to improve the private sector. How can we do that? We can only do that to get outside there, crowd so hard that people will hear us and come in and do business. When we have people coming in to do business, then we have a stabilized rate when it comes to unemployment. Another one, consumer confidence. Consumer confidence. There is confidence from consumer now. You have people for 16 years. You have people who doing business outside. You have people who come in to do investment. They feel that Liberia is safe, and now there is a stabilized economic. You can come in and do more business. You have electricity. That's one thing that electrical equipment. You have electricity, and a lot of things will go on.
Do you have the, do you have, I come in 1 minute. Do you have the statistics of people coming in country to do business?
Let me tell you, I got 2 groups already in. So it's
What-
not
what are
only the
two
president.
Okay.
It's not
That's
only the
fine.
president. That's
That-
more
that's
people
fine.
to go
That's-
outside there and come and bring people. So from
Okay.
my end, I got 2 companies coming in, not only the president working. So all other
Okay.
people who crying,
So-
let me tell you how many people he coming in with.
Honorable Moba.
Yeah,
Honorable Moba.
yeah.
Probably President Bwaka needs to recruit you as his information minister. Do you know why I say so? I didn't say, I'm not being sarcastic, right? But if I were information minister, that's how we're going to react to Honorable Kuhn or Mr. I mean, how to call it, Mr. Cummings. What you did is how we should respond. That's what we're saying here by providing these facts instead of going to discuss somebody's height and how this and that. I thought that's why we said that was unnecessary. But really, I appreciate your analysis and stuff on this issue. That should have been the response.
Okay. So with that,
I'm a realist.
okay. All right, Mr. Representative, Mr. Mulbach, with that analysis, are you saying tonight also to your viewers and listeners that you do support the way in which the Ministry of Information reacted to Cummings?
Let me say this. I think as government official, we have to be responsible with our words, our utterances. Have to be very careful, because the thing about our democracy, we exchange words. But then when you are in leadership, you should be able to adapt and work on those things that you wish to work on. Or you draw a line and stick those facts. And not to tell someone like, you're so sure you're not seeing what's happening. That's an insult. You will now.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Honorable, you got Starlink.
Okay. So
Yeah, Starlink, sorry.
yes, go ahead quickly.
They really have it here. So I think, especially for the information minister, they should be very careful because they are in the hot seat. They should be very careful with their utterances out there, because this government should be a responsible government, and we hold them a high esteem. Thank you.
Now,
I would like to really add to what he just said. Honorable Cummings is a taxpayer. We are taxpayer, but we in public service, taxpayer monies are being used to pay us. So when we're responding to them, we should respond to them with responsibility. When they come angry, we shouldn't go angry. They say when you go low, we go low. I mean, we go high. When they come high, we go low. So yeah.
Okay, so you're listening to the Nighttime Heat. Our guest here is Representative Small Mulbach of Montserrat County. He's here for 1 hour, close to that. By 9:15, we'll open the lines briefly so that you can interact with him. And of course, at 9:30, he'll be leaving, and then we'll be doing our own analysis. Now, Rep, let's ask you this question. We are hearing about the establishment of political parties. We heard already about the CMC of Musa Belede. We are also hearing about another political party organized
PAP.
by the PAP by
Senator Sir
Senator
Joseph.
Sir Joseph. And in addition, we are hearing about the establishment of another political party by a senator. So they rush for the presidency ahead of 2029. The field may likely be crowded. Do you think that's the way to go as opposition leaders?
Let me first of all start by saying this, Silver. I think usually when you make more money, when your hour turns, anyone jump out to be president. Anyone can jump out to be president. Sorry to say this. Someone then in the past said that we have only 2 main verbs. The rest of the order, they are helping verb. I will say this again. I think the person was very right. In this country, we have two political parties that the Liberian people looking at. We have Unity Party to that of the coalition CDC, the two political parties we have. So without Unity Party, without CDC, the rest of the other party, they want to make it sure at the end of the day, they will have a collabo. So people use these things to hustle. So other political parties around, they are
so in another word, you are saying that the Musa Belede, the Sir Joseph, and those will be coming in.
You supposed to call Musa Belede anything here.
No, I'm coming. Representing Molba. Okay, the CMC and the PAP and other parties that we're hearing about, you are saying they are all hustlers. At the end of the day, they want collaboration.
The UP, the CDC, that are the two main verbs we have. The rest of them, they are helping verb, they are hustlers.
So you just re-echo the statement, the recent statement made by the Unity Party chair.
Of course, he's right. He's very right.
So he was right. He was right.
Let me tell you the thing first, right? Let's look at somebody. We got people in government. What have been their role? We got people that have political party. What have been their role to governance? You know, it baffles me to see that you cannot contribute to the process of good governance, but you wake up and say you can govern. Right?
So
if you want to govern some part of governance and show how you govern, but you haven't shown anything. To be just a representative, that's not governance. To be a senator, that's also not governance. Governance means you sit in the hot seat and make decisions that the people will benefit. But at the house, one man cannot make decisions. At the house, you have 103 lawmakers, both from the Senate to that of the House of Representatives, who decide. But as a president, you decide along with your cabinet minister. Some decision you make, it takes time for one man to take that decision. But how many of those guys that we see today with political party can sit and decide for this country?
Now, by describing them as hustlers, don't you think you are sounding condescending? You trying to disparage them? They are not fit to occupy the presidency. Rather, they are hustlers, bunch of hustlers. You're listening to the Nighttime Heat, rented on Prom FM 105.5. Also, we are streaming live on Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. We want to share the show. We are also streaming live on our Facebook, our Nighttime Heat Facebook page, and our Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. You can share the show and also allow your friends, your relatives, your loved ones to also follow the show. It seems that the man with the Starlink it's troubling him.
So he's been, the Honorable said a lot of important things tonight. Yes. I think tonight his performance very, very excellent. I mean, the other time when he can be not that. Most of the time he can be very, very argumentative. I mean, when people try to criticize him, a lot of critical questions you ask here. He's been very relaxed responding to them. It's very good. I think the recent troubles he made, I mean, he
what he just said, don't you think it sounds condescending?
You see, sometimes the truth.
And calling them hustlers.
Well, I mean, he's a politician. He's speaking as one.
That is choice of words.
Yeah, his choice of words. He knows why he's saying it, because he's seeing what he's seeing from his colleagues in the House. Because most of the parties that we talk about, they are being organized by people in the legislature. So he interacts with them every day. So I wouldn't come out and say that he's been condescending to them. You and I outside here, we don't know what they do in there. But I really wanted to ask him if there's a need to reform the election laws. The law is there. The law says if you didn't get 2% or more, that party should not contest. It's not eligible to contest the next election. So that's why you see people like Mr. Cummings trying to escape from the ANC to try to see his face with another political party. That's why you see Honorable Musa Belede running up and down. That's one of the reasons people talk the presidency. So what people should look at it is If you are the candidate, you went on the party ticket, you didn't get that number. When you go on the next party ticket, will you get it? So those are some of the things that people should look at in electoral reform. I would want that law to be looked at. If you can ban the party from contesting the next election, the individual that contested on that party's ticket at the flag bearer, you allow them to go. I thought that was a loophole. Maybe there's some explanation I don't know.
Okay.
Here that probably somebody could provide to us. And, not just about Mr. Cummings alone. It didn't happen in the past, saying the law was passed, by the legislature. So I thought that people should look at it because it will make the person to actually fight to do better than leaving to go to another parties where maybe the guy supporters just buy their way through to go there.
Okay, we'll talk about that. I'm sure in our subsequent program, we're going to look at 2029, some of the names that we are hearing, whether they are suited for the presidency. We'll be talking about that maybe on Friday. But let me try to announce our numbers quickly. 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Better still 0778 460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. You've been following the interview with okay. Yes, the panel. You'll be joining by 9:30. You can call us on 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Better still 0778 460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. I'm sure you've been listening to our guest, Representative Smoke Mulber, and some of the things he's been saying. Do you have any comments or you have questions? You can put your calls now on 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Or better still, 0778 460-793. 0778-460-793. That's the numbers to call and to alive on the program. Our guest went off his internet. I'm sure has created a problem. Hopefully he'll be back. But at 9:30, we'll be doing our own analysis on a couple of issues. We'll be looking at the issue of job creation, trying to assess the government, what the government has been able to perform in that area. We'll be looking at the issue of some governance issue, the issue of women and children protection. Has there been much of that by this government? We'll be looking at the issue of ensuring better concession for our country. Has the government made some significant gains regarding that? That is at 9:30 when our panelists come in. But in the meantime, you can put your calls on 0886 050507. Again, 0886 050507. Or better still, 0778 460-793. 0778-460-793. We also want you to share the show. Just tab Nighttime Heat on your Facebook or your YouTube channel, and then you can share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow the show. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Morovia 105.5. But let me ask you, the way he answered the question concerning the reaction, the statement made by Cummings, the Liberians are suffering and throwing jabs at the government, and they push back from the Ministry of Information. What's your takeaway from the way he answered the question?
I was so impressed. He was just agreeing with you and I in studio here. Mm-hmm. That's why he said they should have been data driven. The Ministry of Information reaction should have been based on the facts, not by going by the way the opposition leader critique the government. Had the government spokesperson just taking his own time and explain as the lawmaker explained here, someone who is an independent lawmaker.
Yeah.
All right. In fact, it would have been more admirable. That's why I said probably President Bouaga will be considering making you his information minister. Because That's the way to respond to those type of things. Not by lambasting,
providing facts and statistics.
Statistics, telling them where you were, where you are, where you are heading to, and what you intend to do after. Minister Sando started very good. From the beginning, he was explaining, he gave a history of where they all came from as opposition together, and this or that. But where he missed, and when he went personal, that's where he missed. He should have just continue to explain where the government is. The government that he said wasn't going to be good, where it is now, what it has done, what it intends to do, and why some of those things that, often, why some of those external things that government working on. That's all you need. Everybody knows Mr. Cummings, he runs here, he will not win election. He can be president. We are clear on that. We
even if he joins the CDC.
Even if he goes CDC, in fact, he will reduce the vote.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Friday.
So you have to go after him.
We'll be looking at the political field on Friday ahead of 2025. 0778 again 460-793. That's the number to call. 0778 460-793. Better still 0886 050507. That's the number to call, 0886-050507. That's the number to call. And then you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Again, we are streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5, and also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat on your Facebook, where they have the search. You tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show, and also your YouTube channel, where do they have the search? You tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show as well. Just subscribe, and you want to get notification every time. Just hit the notification bell so that you can get notification every time. As soon as our other panelists come in, we'll start the ball rolling. I'm sure the representative may not come back. Maybe Starlink has
probably
developed a serious problem, and so he can come back. Again, 0778 460-793, or better still 0886 050507.
And mind you, he graded Representative Coon 71.5% when I did the math. You can see the calculation here. He graded
leadership.
Speaker Coon's leadership 71.5%, because he said the first performance was 7.0%, which is 70, 7.8%, which is 78. He said, 80 and 58. So if you add everything divided by the 4, you will get 71.5, and that is very good. I think a few months of performance. But he spoke of some critical things, especially when it comes to auditing and transparency at the legislature, at our house. I think Speaker Coon need to work on that to ensure that the house is audited. For the first time ever in the history of Liberia, for me to know that the house, the legislature, is being audited by the GAC, external auditor. I mean, it's very important that they do that. It's important. All these things, they may not be corrupt as people think. But let them allow them to be audited. I mean, auditing doesn't mean that the judge when they're supposed to say you corrupt. I mean, if they had never been audited before, I think they were just going to put system into place how they should proceed with their financial records and other things. And that's all. So
okay, so we just also received our old man Edwin Fambule. He's been with us this time, and of course, we're going to continue the discussion. I'm sure the representative has already gone off. He may not come back on. So let's go to the second portion of our discussion quickly to talk about some major issues, trying to gauge the performance, assess the performance of our government. I'm expecting Representative Member Briggs to join us in a moment from now as well. Mr. Fambule, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Slover, and then to my big brother. Good afternoon, good evening to you guys.
Thank you.
I'm glad always to be here to provide, my contribution to my country and to the listening public.
Okay, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Let's try to go into our discussion quickly. we saw that's quite necessary to talk about some major issues, trying to gush the or assess the performance of our government. Our government has been around close to 2 years now. I'm sure January, right?
Yeah,
Next
yeah,
year,
right,
January,
22.
will mark the government 3 years or
No, 2 years.
2 years.
Okay, fine. So, they've been performing. Let's try to see as to, what they've achieved so far. Let's not go into the economy this time around, but the issue of job creation. Let me get your take.
Well, to begin with, I think I would say the government have not performed quite well when it comes to job creations, And I would say this, I listened to my big brother when I was coming, and there was some discussions surrounding that. As we speak, I think government is one of the largest employer in the country, which of course it should be the other way around, because government cannot absorb most of the working population in the country. It's mostly the private sector. So what needs to happen, I think the space needs to be created in order for us to have more private sector being driven, so that we will be able to provide jobs for our young people who are coming out of school and who are also, trying to make ends meet. It is a dangerous trend, and if we follow in history within Africa, there is this euphoria or something called Gen Z, which is you see it, like almost a trend. It happens in Kenya, it happens in Madagascar, and in fact, a few days ago, it was even in Morocco. Okay. These are countries that are actually being somehow, at bay for some time, and then you see these things happening. Liberia has a very youthful population, and most of the young people, I can say, in this country are idle. When you walk around the street or you drive around the street, during the time where these men should be working, providing for their family, they are sitting just out of doing nothing. I listened to the honorable man talking about, how they have to take care of people, they have to do. Look, there's no dignity in begging. There's dignity in work. Even if the man is not educated, but he has a skill that he can wake up in the morning, he knows that he can go to a site where he can work and be able to support his family, I think he will feel glad to do it. So I think the government needs to focus more on creating an enabling environment so that investment can be able to come into the country and let our people work. I will go further. When you read most of these concessions, and I think the Ministry of Labor is not actually looking at it, there are sections in those concessions that says that we should not, the concessionaire should not bring in certain skills into the country. Because basically these concessions are brought into the country. They're given all of these tax haven. They've given all of these different incentives so that they can be able to provide job for our people. Okay. But then they bring in their own drivers, they bring in cooks, they bring in secretary,
our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and also streaming live on Prime FM, Morovia 105.5 Prime FM Facebook page. We are also streaming live. Yeah, I understand that Smooth Molba is back. Apparently, the man managed to sort things out with his Starlink. Let's try to bring him on. Representative Molba, welcome back. This time around, I'm sure you're just going to form part of our welcome back, Representative Molba. I'm sure this time you're just going to form part of the analysis we are now making because the time is out. Okay, the rep is back. You are in speech.
Yes, so, like I said earlier, I think we need to now focus on more trying to expand the private sector. And like I said, in every country, you find out that the private sector is the one that actually create more employment. Even in Ghana today, we're talking about, you go to Ghana, it's mostly private driven rather than government driven. Because if you look at our national budget itself, and this is why we are not actually building out of infrastructures, because most of the monies that go into the national budget, it goes into recurrent expenditure, paying salaries, paying for fuel, paying for travel. Now, other countries have been able to turn that around to have a smaller government, and then you focus more on development initiatives so that you be able to create jobs, and then you also encourage the private sector. And like I was saying, in most of our concessions, the one for B Mountain, the one for ArcelorMittal, is very spelled out that these jobs should be given to Liberians, but we're not following up with these things. So most of these jobs that are created are now given to foreigners. The guys are bringing in almost everybody to do the work, while Liberians are sitting there basically doing nothing.
So by right, it is the Ministry of Labor that should ensure that is discouraged.
Tentatively, they have to.
Okay, right back, Representative, welcome back to the program. We're just talking about he gone off again. It seems Representative Molba gone off. We're hoping that he can come back on. The rain is.
I think the rain has intensified.
Okay, welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get your take now on the aspect of job creation. Do you think this government has scored a mark in that, or the government is still lagging behind?
All right.
The internet is bad.
The rain is falling heavily.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you put him on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Make mention of key things. I think for the initial stage, I told you that in order to grow the economy of our country, we have to take our focus from mainly the public sector and focus directly so that we can have a private sector that is driven. I said that. But then I think he make mention of those sections where we have labor issues, where the Decent Work Act 45.1c said that jobs that is for Liberians should be given to them. When there is no Liberian, you can have a foreigner, right? When you have no Liberian who can occupy the position, then you can bring in for the foreigner. I think that's a good one. But let me say this. This is what many of us young people lack. We sometimes just go about the discussion, but those issues that trickle our budgets, those are issues that help support the budgets. So the thing here is this: we have concessions, so many of them, and I remember now, all of those concessions, to put forth those heavy law on the concession, will trickle down to our budget. Let's take, for instance, we heard from the CSA boss in his report, 2024 report. He says that we have close to 10,000 work permit. So 10,000 work permit just for foreigners. When I went to ArcelorMittal, there were 4,000 foreigners that were given jobs. And let me tell you why it's difficult to go through this point. We can see it, we can have a discussion, but it's difficult to go in the fight. Because one thing is this, when you look at your budget, we have a support line of the budget, what our revenue that support the budget, withholding. Under withholding, there's a huge amount that is going directly, that will have a trickle-down effect on our budget and has support the budget. We also have what we call the work permit. Out of 11,000, the work permit today is like $1,000. It have been increased to $3,000 to try to create that deterrent, which of course is very difficult. I know it when I happen. But then all the money that we generate from the foreigner, withholding, the NASCO benefit, right? So down, it all boils down to supporting the budget, helping with the revenue. So if you exclude that from the budget, remember that we have a budget, a threshold of 800 million plus. We're targeting 1 billion. So if you exclude that portion of the work permit, right, of the withholding, then it will have an effect on our budget. It will drop. The number, the threshold will drop. It may drop to 600 million, sorry. So my thing is that first of all, what we need to do is not a horror time, right? We need to make sure that we go outside, like the president is doing now, the prime minister doing, to bring in investors that will create more private sector vacancy, where our people can go and have jobs, right? But the fear we have, if you put heavy load on them, the next thing that will happen, some of them will tell you, say, look, we will close down, we will shut down. Another aspect of it is this. In this country, we have qualified Liberians, I will tell you. There are jobs that could reflect directly to Liberians. Let's take, for instance, warehouse. When you go city builders, you see the Lebanese standing there, the Indians, right, in the various stores. They are all Liberian jobs. I was at Dalian, what I have a partnership with. Dalian Headland, when it was Chinese grocery. I went there, I saw Chinese with ticket. I sent a text message to the minister. I said, you need to take them out. And what I did as a lawmaker, because the grocery is in my district, being a partner to that, I called the police. And we stopped them for holding tickets. You want to tell me there is no library that can hold tickets? So there are jobs that we can fight for. And there are also jobs that will help impact our budget. So it's a win-win situation. We have to be very careful with it, how we go about it. Thank you.
Do you agree with the legislation? Do you agree with his analysis?
I totally disagree with his analysis. And you see, this is why the people are coming to your house when their wife gave birth. They come to you, say, "Honorable, please help me to pay the bills." Now, we can do all of the analysis around inflow into our budget or so, but like we rightly said, is it having the impact on your population? We have a very youthful population that are yearning jobs. The University of Liberia graduates thousands of students every year. Are you concerned whether they're going into the job market? Are you looking around into your community? Look, we can always raise more money into our national budget if we close all of the loopholes. We don't have to give our work permit to do XYZ. Like we said, it is clearly spelled out in the concessions, even aside of the Decent Work Act. All of the concessions have sections that are talked about employing Liberians. And the reasons why we sometimes get very liberal with these things is because it is believed that when ArcelorMittal comes, they're going to provide jobs for Liberians. So we say, okay, when you go to Nimba, we know that ArcelorMittal will provide jobs for at least 7,000 people in Liberia. If we bring B. Martin, we say, look, B. Martin will provide maybe another 7,000 or 8,000 jobs. But then you go there, you realize that 80% of the workforce are foreigners. And guess what? These concessions that are coming, they're also coming from countries that people are also looking for jobs. India, for example. Now, when you go to even, like he talked about the Lebanese guys here, when you go to some of these stores, you see Lebanese are sitting there. All right? When you go to some of these places, you have Indians. They are doing manual job, cashier jobs, and other stuff that Liberians can do. So we are saying that you have a very vibrant young workforce that are idle, that have no jobs, that could become even a threat to your democracy. So you cannot be sitting and talking about trying to raise money to carry a budget to 1 billion and let us open the system so the people can come in. No, there are a lot of ways that you can close that loopholes.
Yes, come in.
We have these. I think he's like contradicting the entire thing. What I'm saying is this. I'm not saying that the job cannot go for Liberian. I have been one of those words on the social media. I have been one of those words at the House of Legislature, pushing that Liberians should have access to their job. But what I'm saying, we have to create jobs. It's in our hand as government. We have to create jobs. How can we create more jobs? How many jobs we have already? How many concessions you have in Liberia here? Have you done your own visit? Just to sit on the radio to talk or to sit on social media and talk, that's not a thing. Get out there. Visit the people there. They are Liberians who are employed. They are gaining employed. But what's the condition of those Liberians? All of those fundamental rights have been breached, labor rights. So it goes beyond that. I'm not saying I'm denying Liberians a job. That's not what I'm saying. I want the young people to get jobs.
No, you're more concerned about raising money for the national budget. I listen to you keenly. You're more concerned about raising your money in the national budget. And that's where I say I don't agree with you. You are the lawmaker. If you know that people's rights have been violated at these areas, it is your right to be able to raise these things.
The oversight responsibility.
You have oversight. Let me tell you, you have three functions: representation, oversight,
And lawmaking.
and lawmaking. So, Chief, Chief. So if you think that these things have been breached, it is your right to even call the labor minister and say, look, we have complained that our people have been underpaid. Take for example, how many times have you even called these concessionaires to say, look, we've heard that our people have been underpaid. I'm from Grand Cape Mile County. I'm informed that sometimes people even get injured on the job and they have no redress. How many times have we even, you as lawmaker, call the labor minister, say, we need to find out these things, you do fact findings, and then you be able to provide recommendation. Rather us coming here to grandstand and say, oh no, we can do this. For me, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Can I
Let him come.
Let me just say this. You cannot correct your indicators at a specific component where you call them and say you are not paying our people. What we need to work on, there are two things in this country we need to work on. One is the issue of harmonizing the law. We have two laws. We have the standing order of the CSA that governs our civil servants. We also have the Decent Work Act for the private sector. But the two laws say different things. And there's a minimum wage that if you cannot trickle those minimum wages, right? We have 143 every month. We need to increase that. When you want for people to take pay well, you need to look at the main cost, the main thing, which is the minimum wage. So it has been our cry that we work on the minimum wage so that people can have good pay. But from the early stage, let me just say this. He make mention of oversight. Yeah, granted, we have on oversight. We also have the issue of lawmaking. They are all good things. But what good is our oversight when the executive cannot implement? What good is the oversight? You call the executive and say XYZ. You listen to what the Senator. Senator Delo call the minister, Councilor Cooper Craw. He told Cooper Craw, you need to do this. Have Cooper Craw gone to the book to do that? I was reference to him.
Okay, so Honorable,
I come in the middle. If you have a private sector that is not strong, you cannot have a vibrant private sector. If you have a public sector that is not strong, you cannot have a vibrant private sector. So you need to support the public sector. When you are strong, then you bring the private sector, a better private sector. That's it.
so Honorable, you see, most of the time, I'm challenged when I face with this type of discussion and people defecting the discussion and trying to shape blames. Because sometimes if we face a reality with other people also are listening to us, they will be thinking about the solution. All right? The legislature has greater power
Immense power.
that people, its members, most of its members tend to deflect. Most of them want to discuss the shift this one to the executive.
Yes.
You have on another concession, what's where you have contempt power. You have the power to nullify it. You have the power to sit. Let me tell you, you created this state.
Of course.
You are the vice presidential government. You were seated, you created the executive and the judiciary.
Of course.
Once you know this type of authority that you have, and you begin to implement to act as one, of course, we will get change in this country, transformation. Look, what happened with this
what
concession?
are you insinuating now?
I'm trying to say that the lawmakers here, they're trying to be overly political and then being more focused on their functions. People try to focus too much on their re-election bid and to stay there for long, then actually fighting to do the needful. If you go to Bay Mountain, for example, as Mr. Famule said, you see people being paid below the decent wage act. The civil service standing order, is it a legislation? It's a legislation. The decent wage act is a legislation. You enforce it. That's what you do. You stand, you tell the executive, this is what we will budget for, and so amount of people are employed here. When we're doing withholding tax, remittance to government will be taken at this rate.
Of course.
So you use a decent way.
That's why I told you the other time, Honorable, I said I will move to your district because I have to contest.
All right. Honorable, yes, your time to speak to that chief.
Let's listen to the honorable. Go ahead. I still want to respond to it.
Yeah, you respond.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
here's the thing. First, before I respond to my brother George, right? I got
Yeah.
to respond. Let me say this. You have a private sector and a public sector. You make mention of the Decent Work Act as the core law. You cannot do that. The Decent Work Act supersedes all of those private sectors, concessionaires.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
You
Yes.
cannot use the Decent Work Act law on the civil service. You cannot do that.
No, but that's
Who are the civil service? Who are the civil service?
They are government employees.
Are the civil service not government employees?
They are government employees.
Do you know why that civil service order standing for? Because government is paying less.
Hello, government is not private sector.
You know. I think you're dragging this thing here, and what brother just said. Let me just give you the authority that you have that probably you guys don't know. Today, the greatest country in the world, it was the legislature that shut down that government.
It's still shut down today.
It's still shut down. With all the power that President Trump thought he had, it was the legislature that said we'll shut it down. That is the power you have. You're the only person that has the authority to remove a sitting president.
Yes.
Nobody else can do it. You can put too many people in the street. If the legislature does not impeach the president and remove him, he will still be president.
Yes.
And this whole thing Chief, I'm coming. This whole thing where you keep switching, the blame, or the executive has to act. It's just like, it's rhetorical. I'm a student of law. Like you rightly said, all right? The legislature is the first branch of government. Do you know why you are asked to elect a speaker before the inauguration? Because if you are not seated, we cannot have a president. The president cannot be inaugurated.
Yeah.
So you can come there and be telling us how a government employee, a minister comes to the legislature and an instruction is given to him, go and do this. And the minister says, I will not do it. Then you sit down there. You have contempt power. You can also write to the president with a vote of no confidence. Say we cannot work with this particular minister.
You can hold that minister, that ministry budget.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You need to know.
Let me tell you, within the U.S., the Congress, Republic, you have three branches of government. In Liberia, you have a unitary state. And let me say this, we also operate a representative governance. So we have three branches of government. And all three branches, one is not above the other. You know why? Because we are there to create check and balance. But here you have a legislature that is a regime legislature. Let's discuss it.
Come on, man.
Fine, you read your that's almost argument. That's lazy argument. You are independent. You are the opposition lawmaker. You are more than the regime. You are more than the regime. Regime is around 11 to 12, 15 in the house.
Chief.
Why you saying that?
You should be above that, Chief.
Because of what you guys did, our house not paid.
Other things we agree,
majority. So
no, you know the law, the Unity Party, and its collaboration got less than 20.
Of course, you have majority
in the house.
Okay, gentlemen.
So why you can't talk?
Let's go ahead.
Gentlemen, let us pass that. Let us pass that. Let us pass that. Let us pass that and talk about it.
You escape.
Right. I'm gonna escape it.
Yeah. We shall debate for 100 years. You can't win us that debate there.
And then you guys step up the plate. Look, Liberals will depend on you to go.
Let's pass that topic.
Yeah,
I think we discussed that very extensively. Let's pass that topic. Now let's look at our final topic as to, because we can adjust all. Let's try to assess the way the government is handling the fight against drugs. We know initially this administration campaigned very hugely on the issue of drugs and said that it would have raided this country of drugs the best way possible. Just yesterday, we saw the donation of 15, I think, new vehicles to the DEA. But initially, before this interim management team at the DEA, we had previous DEA managers, the Fariga, the Krumah, but they didn't stay long. They had a very short time there because of some internal wrangling. And then we had
Anthony Swar.
Before Anthony Swar, we had Christopher Peters. And Peters went there also, and he didn't stay long. Then Anthony Swar came, and Swar too had to leave before the new interim management team. Now, the way they've been performing, almost every day we hear about the arrest of drugs and all of that, and with the latest donation. Gentlemen, where are we? I think the government is proceeding well. Let me hear from you first, Mr. Famwe.
Well, from the genesis, I think the government has a very good intent in trying to fight drugs. Currently now, with this current leadership, I think they have speak up a little bit with more momentum. But let me say this, and let us not get it wrong. The fight against drugs is a difficult fight. The most sophisticated countries in the world today, drugs is one of their major menace. And I will always say, you know, I worked with Anthony Swar before in the security sector. You know, understand the security settings, you know exactly. But like I said one time, if you ask any immigration officers today, do you know how many borders we have in this country that are not manned? There are some border crossing points like between here and the next area there. Just learn. People live in Liberia, go to Sierra Leone and farm and come back in the afternoon time.
Just by footpath.
By footpath. You have all these waterways. Yeah. Does Liberia have a Navy boat that patrols our Atlantic Oceans? There was a drug boss here during President Salif's time. I was involved with that issue. I can clearly say. Do you know who assisted us? It was the French Navy that had to capture that vessel at sea, and it was driven to the free port. So look, we shouldn't fool ourselves that all of this fight now going on. Yes, the guys are doing well, they're looking for the people, but the people who do drugs, the people who actually traffic drugs and benefit from it, As you are getting sophisticated to try to go after them, they're also getting sophisticated to find a way to bring it to your country. Mexico, there are people that are building submarines. Who made submarines? They build and put drugs inside and take it to the US coast. So this thing is a serious epidemic. And if Liberia cannot do it alone, that's one of the things that I'm saying. It should be a regional thing. It should be the Mano River regional fight against narcotics transport within our sub-region.
So you think what we're doing is cosmetic?
I can tell you it's
not gonna
cosmetic.
achieve- okay.
Once it's not being controlled in Sierra Leone and Guinea, it will find its way into Liberia. I don't care what you do.
And once we still have porous borders.
Once you still have porous border,
Let
it will
me ask
still
you, Reb, you also been following. I understand you visited the rehabilitation center in Johnsonville, and you've been on top of this whole drug fight. What do you agree with, Mr. Famula, that what is happening, what we are doing, is just cosmetic? It may not achieve the desired results.
I think I differ with Mr. Famula. First of all, I would like to know from all of those here tonight whether you did your drugs test. That's one of the ways we fight drugs. Whether you guys did your drugs test. I did mine. So as a citizen of this country, if you want to fight drugs, the first thing is that we be clear from drugs.
We
So
all
I
don't take
local level, we is clear from drugs. Mr. Kennedy, and to that of
I don't even take alcohol. I don't smoke.
drink, I don't smoke. So
I don't take alcohol. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't nothing.
I came out in a Muslim home, so I don't drink, I don't smoke.
For me, I'm a Christian.
My father was
I don't.
a religious person. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't take drugs.
What I did, I'm not one person that drink or smoke. The thing is this, I'm not
Talk too bad. Yeah.
I'm not the one that drink.
That's what gave away.
I can see.
But why you have to take a drug test?
Red, I want to respond to what the man said.
Yeah, let me respond to that. Yeah, I did it to show that's one way to respond to know whether you guys are clear from drugs. I'm just hearing that you are a Muslim. I mean that you are clear. So that discusses the issue.
Yeah.
With the issue of the native boat. So I already got one or two native boats that have been run by the AFL. So the issue of fighting drugs is not just based upon the having a boat or owning a boat. Look at the case with the Philippines. Look at the issue with the Caribbean, right? They just cartel. It's just not about boat issue. One of the meetings that government did is logistics and the willpower to fight drugs, right? Another thing they did was the Liberia DEA to do drug testing with every one of them that are going out. So that's the first key sign that the government is prepared to fight drugs. What we did as lawmakers, we went there, supported the process. And someone, let me tell you, there are young people. I told you this. The only mistake the government is making with the issue of the border, I think we see some good things on the issue of the border, right? One of the mistakes that government is making is the issue of those dense populated areas that government are trying to build rehabilitation center like Johnsonville. I think you saw the write-up. When I told them the issue of Johnsonville, when we have the rehabilitation center, we have the priority center that we have here. The young guys are doing more than the drugs now. They are getting to people who they are raiding people who, when you are not prepared to contain them, it expounds the issue of the drugs. Because what will happen is, when they leave the real people who they will enter the various community and they will start selling drugs. Then those drugs, non-affected area will be affected. So my proposal was to look at area like Todi, to look at area like Belayala, build a rehabilitation center, send them there for transformation. They are at least a distance away from the most populated area. So government, again, I would say government, our default within is doing extremely well with the issue of drugs. We saw those numerous cases, right? That they arrested people, government killing them, persecuting them. I think it's a process that the government is not one government that support drugs. So if you have a government that will not support drugs and help to combat drugs, we should be grateful for that. But to be a young man here sitting on the radio saying that because of both native boats, to go on to see the government is not doing well, I think no, that's not a good thing. We should embrace
Okay.
what government is doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's hear from Mr. Kennedy.
I'm in here in between. I agree with Mr. Famula when he said we should regionalize the fight because we have the type of porous borders linking with one another. If we regionalize it, really enhance the kind of fight against drugs, we will minimize it to a larger extent. But I don't agree with the word cosmetics. I don't take it because I've seen genuine efforts. I'm seeing people putting their best in what they have, and in spite of the resource challenges. I tend also to agree with Honorable Sumo in some sense when he said that, people, this drug test issue going forward is good, but we will do the drug test, do it all the way. Once we cannot, and the drugs, the guys didn't think they are sophisticated. They are more sophisticated than us. They stay in the trade from the Caribbean coming all the way to the west coast. So we don't have the resources to combat them. So we need the kind of system into place, the kind of support to the DEA. I praise the government for giving them 15 pickups. It still goes back to the legislature. You're talking about centers. The budget is right before you. It's coming right before you. Appropriation will be very critical to say, look,
Of course.
we are making this money available.
The guys are in charge of that. Don't worry about that.
I mean the legislature. I say small power. You will vote for it. You dare make lobby with your friends. That's why you say you're going to lobby with your friend when you are campaigning. So lobby. I mean, you should do appropriation for this type of thing to really support the DEA, recruit more men, train them, equip them, we'll get them more logistics and other things. And they should regionalize this way.
And pay them well.
Yeah,
Pay them well. Look.
Uh-uh.
Let me say this, right? And I think I said it. The people who deal in drugs, they are sophisticated. I don't care how you do it. And I try to set example of the greatest country in the world that have all of the resources. How even up to today's day, they're still combating drugs. So if I say, all of these things that we are doing, and I will repeat myself, it's going to be cosmetic if we do not regionalize this fight to control it, because most of the substances that comes, it comes through our borders. Our borders are porous. And a lawmaker is sitting there and telling me that we have a gun board and they owned by the AFL. Come on. Like I said to you, right? I was in the security sector before. I understand what you think you understand.
Functioning very well.
There are many times where even when there are vessels in our ocean that have disaster, we have to call to Ivory Coast to come and help us. So let's be realistic. I'm not against the government action. The government is doing well, but we're not going to be able to sustain it if we do not regionalize it. You talked about the Philippines. Let me tell you, the very first thing the president of the Philippines did was to say, I'm going to suspend everything that has to do with human rights when it comes to drugs. If you are caught with drugs, you'll be executed. There was a very important case. Let me educate you. There was a Nigerian lady who was pregnant, who was caught in Philippines with drugs. Everybody got involved. Amnesty International or the human rights group. The president put his foot down. He said the only thing I will allow her to do is to remain alive until she gave birth, because the fetus in her stomach did not commit the crime. So she can bring any of her relatives into Philippines. When she gave birth, the person will take care of the child. After certain time, she'll be executed. Even the UN, everybody talked. That lady was executed. So those were decisions that deter people from taking drugs to Philippines. You don't have it here. So let's stop grandstanding and making it seem like, oh, we're doing this and we're working there. Those things. Do you know that you have about 1.7 million of your young people on drugs? It's a disaster. And you sit in a legislature, you're in a democracy that is at risk, and you say, oh, let people go take drug tests. How many people, even the DA guys, how many times do they take drug tests? Those things are cosmetic. Let's be realistic.
Work on the budget, Honorable. Do the budget for this move.
More money in the budget.
Yes, before you come in.
I think I listen to Formula. I want Formula to give good information out there. Information with facts.
I'll give you information with facts.
First
What
of
made
all,
your facts not facts?
Red, before you come in, Before you come in, let me just announce the numbers. We have to take course of just a few minutes. 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Or better still, 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. 0886-050507. That's the numbers to call. Yeah, Rep, come in.
So I listened to Formula. He stated that there were times that Goma had to call to Ghana to bring votes, right, to help the process. Let me say this: that's not true. That's not fine. Stop lying to the Liberian people. I also have 10 vessels. I also have 10 vessels. Right? Go to Maritime. I also have 10 vessels in this country that help government. So start giving information out.
You're not getting me right. No, you don't want to misquote me. I swear there are times in the Liberian waters, they call to Ivory Coast. Don't misquote me. No, you misquoting me. Don't do that. That's the genius of you. Don't do that. No. Don't misquote me.
You make mention of the death penalty. Let me tell you, Formula, you should understand what we call international religion. Liberia, the position Liberia found herself. Liberia signed a treaty that prohibits death penalty.
They're not ready. They are not ready to solve the problem. And you see, I see some of the challenges you have in Chief, you listen. Do you know why the other day I said it on the radio? I said the guy who killed that police guy, if it's proven that he intentionally killed that guy, he should be executed. And somebody came and said, "Oh, but we are in treaty, we're in this and that." Do you know that the United States of America is today executing people? Do you know that? And you said that after long time. America is saying, "I know you can do this, you can do this." You're not serious.
You see the lapses, these are the weaknesses.
These are the weaknesses for people like you guys in the legislature.
All right, gentlemen, we'll have to go. We'll have to go.
You're so emotional. You don't handle things like that.
Emotional, Chief. You are the one. You are the one.
No, you don't do that. You're so emotional.
All right, gentlemen.
I think you find an epidemic in your country that could destroy your country, and you telling me about treaties and stuff.
All the treaties you sign, Honorable. All the treaties you sign, they are subject to your law. To your executed, they are subject to your law.
They get arrested people with drugs.
But there are international laws.
You got the right to put all of them.
There are international maritime law. Have you seen the U.S. president for the past four times asking the U.S. military to bomb people in boat?
How to call the country?
Venezuela. Have you seen that? Don't they have laws? Don't they have laws?
In the United States, are they killing their own citizens for drugs? Are you talking there?
Hey, lawmaker.
All right, okay, gentlemen. Let's take passing comments so we can go. Let's take passing comments so we can go.
You know, the U.S. military, they prohibit death penalty. Reading.
Gentlemen, let's take passing comments so we can go. Rep, let's hear from you first. Let's hear your party comment.
I love making I'll be the last.
You don't want to tell Mr. Summer Joy who to be the last? They say you the first, you the last.
No, slow.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me take a few calls. In the next 5 minutes, let me take a few calls. 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793 or 0886-050507. You want to partake? You have got a comment or you got a question? Just call in, and of course, we're going to allow you to make your comment here. Let me try to take this caller on the line quickly. Hello. Good evening.
Look at the stringent law.
Stringent laws.
Good evening.
Sharia. other-
Yeah, let's hear from you.
The color is low.
Good evening. Hello? Yes, the caller is low. You can take it from that end quickly. Okay, let's see what I can. Just hold it down. Hold it down 1 minute. Hold it down 1 minute. Let's see how we can put you on quickly. Hold it down 1 minute, please. That's new phones here. Good evening. Hello? Wow. Okay, just go off and let's take you on this other line. 0886. Hello? It's still low. 0886. Just go on this line. 0886 540 987. 0886 540 987. You can call on this line 0886 540 987. And then you make your points, you make either your comment or your question. 0886 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live. Again, 0886 540 987. That's the number to call. Or better still, yes, hello? All right.
And let me take even to the lawmaker in studio. Well, someone, thank you again for the talking point. Just conversation, and I think the topic is about 14 jobs in the country, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So we disagree, and we strongly against jobs in Liberia because jobs is actually killing our youth, even our older folks are all into drugs addiction. But there's one thing some of the quality are saying that about execution. I don't say that if a young man caught in the act of drugs addiction, he or she should be executed. And they make it mention to the United States. If the United States of America win the war against drugs, I said no. We will see people within the United States sleeping on the street with Zoko. They are all hating and doing the similar things that young people do in Liberia. So America is not killing activity because they are in drugs addiction. They're fighting hard to see how best they can see, to see how best to take them for in drug addiction. And the lawmaker and all Canada should be talking about how we can take our brothers from in the habit of drugs and see how best we can rehabilitate them and make them good citizens and useful citizens. For this we talk about, we'll be talking about executing our citizens because they are found themselves in addiction. I think it's bad.
Okay. Many thanks. You made your point already. Many thanks. 07 086 0505.
Talk about executing anybody here.
Again, 0886 050507. There are still 0778 460 0778 460 That's the number to call and you are live. Or 0886 540 987. 0886 540 987 or 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat. Again, 0886 050507, 0886 050507, or 0778 460 793. 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live. Let's take this caller. Good evening. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah, calling on to come around the we are starting.
Okay, go. Yes, go ahead quickly.
What you're saying, why we seeing in a country like Ghana is that our brothers that that smoking drugs or taking drugs, and they're all over the world. Don't just say America at last. Yeah, so the only thing we gotta do now is to pray for them and to see how they do or how best we can rehabilitate them and find a better place for them, because they are the future leader to for tomorrow, because you don't know who is who. Anybody can change and anybody can be no more at any time, because your destiny is far come from God and God gets it. So we want to pray for God to bless them, guard them, protect them, and then take them from the church and this. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. We'll take on the 3 more and then wrap it up, or 2 more, wrap it up. 0886 050507, 0886 050507, or 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793, or 0886 540 987, 0886 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live tonight on the Nighttime Heat. Very shortly, I'll be taking the parting comments from my panelists tonight, but let me take a few calls quickly. 0886 050507, 0886 050507, or 0778 460 793, 0778 460 793. That's the number to call, and you are live. Mr. Famula.
Yes, Robert, let me quickly address the first caller, because you see, I don't actually blame the Honorable Mayor, because many times when they're in session, they don't listen properly. They just make noise and shouting over each other or so. But I didn't say... Hello? Hello? I didn't say that execute Nigerians who take drugs.
Young man, you gotta respect me. Don't do that.
You're not in session. You're not in session. Okay, who me for contempt, Chief? Who me for contempt? So because when the caller spoke, he said, "Family, you heard it." I didn't say that you execute Liberians who taking drugs. He the one brought in Philippines, and I was giving an example as to what the president of Philippines did to be able to curtail the issue of drugs. And that's what I said. Hey, Honorable Chief, we can't talk in chorus. When I say we can't talk in chorus, I know that's how you do in session. We don't talk in chorus. So please allow me to learn, please, Chief. What I said was that the people who takes drugs are the victim. All right, there are people who are the cartel that supply these guys drugs, and they are the one who every country you go after them. And that's why I said it needs a regional fight. Our government, President Boakai, needs to reach out to Madabio, to
to restore the Guinean
president. To the Guinean president and say, look, let's sit down and have a summit on how are we going to fight this madness, because I have 1.7 million plus young people in my country that are addicts. We need to fight it. If you don't fight it in your country, I will not be able to succeed. That is the only way we can work on this thing and get it done. So everything else that the lawmaker is saying, yeah, oh, we should do this, we should do it, is not going to work until we can do a regional fight.
Okay. Rab, let's hear from you.
So let me say this. First of all, I would not use the wrong word on you. I won't do that, because I respect you as a young man. So let me just say this. So first of all, like you have signed to international convention. Is a treaty that was signed, and the aim of this treaty is to prohibit death penalty. Put it aside. But we have a young man who's saying that we should do about death penalty with cartel. I think it's wrong. Those cartel that we have in Liberia, they are citizens, and the position we have as a non-permanent member of the United Nations, we should be a role example, right? We should be a role model. People should see us as a role model. That one who will take decisions so quickly and emotionally. And let me tell you, there's something you talk about regional. Yeah, indeed, we have a regional war going on with the issue of drugs. We have issue just 2 days ago in Ghana. There were people like Liberians and Ghanaians, they were arrested. We have issue in Freetown.
Behind the
There were
mother
people that were arrested. So Freetown is doing their fight. Ghana is doing her fight in connection with our people here. So you need not to have a specific project where people go about eating money.
Okay.
Everybody go about their own fight, and at the end of the day, we just mitigate the process of drugs. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Reb. Thank you very much. Yes, Kennedy.
Thank you. I think I support the coordination of the fight, regional coordination of the fight against this meningitis drugs disease in our country, in the sub-region. And they're affecting all over the world in a way. But ours is more dangerous because we don't even have the sophistication, the equipment whatsoever to fight this. I think if we regionalize, it will be better. The other thing is, I want to tell the Honorable thank you, because I knew you couldn't criticize your boss, the speaker, so much. You graded him 71.5%. When I average your grade, you were very smart to do that, But we're asking to do more with oversight. You're not giving chance to learn, man. Yeah.
You say
I'm pressing you. I'm not beating you tomorrow. I'm not beating you at this day tomorrow.
I will flog them.
We have to go. Well, this is just how we end this program, the Nighttime Heat. Join us on Friday, the weekend edition of it. Until then, let me just recognize few of our some of our viewers. Robert C. Mumbo from GSE, you've been watching. Henry T. Toll Jr. from Corway, you've been watching. Senior Zoe Jr. from, he didn't say from where. Nessa M. Jagbadi from Greenville City. San O'Connor, you've been watching. Gloria Boy passed away from the USA. She's been watching. Ophelia S. George from home, she's been watching. George S. Temba Pay, he's been watching from home. We can name all of you. Until then, have a pleasant night, a restful night. We'll be back for the weekend edition on Friday. Have a pleasant time. Saba George is my name.